Hey, welcome back to No Gears, No Glory. Today we're going to be working on part 3 of our Let's Get Ride Ready series, working on our 2018 Polaris RZR Turbo. Today we're going to be working on just blowing out our CVT belt and cleaning up and double checking our air filter to make sure it's in good enough shape and clean to go for a ride. Alright, stick with us, here we go. Now the next thing we're going to be doing is checking our air filter, which is in our trunk lid, I guess that could be called. And basically, again, we're going to pull this off by grabbing the latch here, pulling up and removing it. And here we have our air box. That's where our air filter's at. Basically just a couple of quick clips to release. Now she should just slide right off with a little coercing. There we go. Alright, now using the toolbox as a little bit of a backdrop for some contrast, you can see that the air filter is in pretty good condition. The casing and the filter element itself looks to be in good shape. This is the original air filter that came with the machine. There is a little bit of dust inside there, which is not great. That's why we're going to go ahead and blow this out. Now, this is probably my trigger point that we'll go ahead and buy a new filter soon and get that replaced before we ride too much more on this one. So when blowing out your air filter, it's a good thing to blow it out from the inside and then of course dust everything off on the outside as well. For instance, as far as maintenance goes, it's a little tedious to sit here and blow it out thoroughly, but it'll save you a little bit of money. These things aren't the cheapest thing in the world to replace them all the time. Isn't really cost effective either. And because I keep this one up pretty good, not too much coming out. It's a good thing. And doesn't take very long either. Alright, once you think you've got it blown out well enough, all you gotta do, put it back together, put it back in, and lock her up. I'm gonna show you how. So in the interest of recording this so you guys can see what I'm doing without me blocking the way, I'm going to show you basically how you put this in and latch this back up. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. However, some people may need to know. So basically you put your filter element back inside and just gingerly slide it back onto the sleeve. It should be clean. That's pretty simple. As far as the latches, you want to put the latches in underneath before you do the top, because you want those to catch under the lip edge and lock into place. Make sure you're sealed all the way around. Voila, you're good to go. Now the next thing we want to do is take off our CVT belt case. There are 9 8mm bolts that you're going to take off of this all the way around, and once we get off the cover, we'll go ahead and blow that out as well with compressed air. Alright. You also want to take off this induction hose that runs from up here just above for some clean, cool air to keep the belt cool. Now, all you have to do is pull the casing off and wrestle it from outside here. Now, I'm not going to lie, I have not found a good way to do this every time. It's kind of sad. Well, there you go. Twist, turn it down, and pull it from under the suspension. Nice. Now, in order to blow out your belt, I like to take it off and blow out the CVT clutches as well. And you want to inspect the belt for cracks and wear and such, so that you may just go ahead and replace it, or know that you need to replace it soon. In order to take off your belt, I like to just go ahead and use the toolkit that actually came with the razor. This is a pretty decent kit that they include. It's got some of your just basic tools, air pressure gauge, spanner wrench for your springs, pliers, and a few other things. One of the other things is a belt removal tool, and it's this little fella right here. Looks pretty basic, but it works fantastically in getting this belt on. Basically, you have two different holes you can use on the clutch. Just put it in, start threading it in, and it'll actually expand out the clutch and loosen the belt so you can take it off. You can see the belts are starting to get slack in it. So you just grab the belt from bottom or top and start turning the clutch. And for the most part, it should start coming off. Roughly, just like that. And there you have it. So I'm going to look at the belt, see if there's any splits or bad wear through the sides. And believe it or not, this is my original belt. And I think it's lasted me because I'm not unusually hard. I don't do big burnouts. And I do this kind of maintenance fairly regularly before a ride. And she looks good. Now, if you're going to blow out your clutch, I recommend wearing some kind of face mask or dust mask. However, in order to do this, my viewing audience, for you guys, I will sacrifice my own well-being so that you can actually hear me and understand me when I'm trying to talk. But anyways, basically all you're going to do is just blow out with compressed air the clutches. Now, your clutches have a lot of moving parts, a lot of small moving parts, and they're mostly metal, unlubricated. So blowing them out regularly like this before or just after a ride is a great idea, so that way the dust that gets in there, and as you can see there's a significant amount of dust, that dust won't wear those parts prematurely. Alright, there you have it. All you gotta do is go ahead and put the belt back on and close back your clutch and put the casing back on. Let me show you how. So now, in order to get your belt back on, you just put it on the way you took it off. Start with your primary clutch and then work it around your secondary. Alright, just make sure it's well within the casing and between the clutches, like that, and start releasing your clutch with your tool, your clutch tool. Alright, now your tool's back out, put it with the rest of your tool bag and put it wherever you keep your tools to have accessible for your next ride. Put our casing back on, center back down. Now when putting the screws back in, you want to remember you are screwing into plastic. The backer is metal, but you're going to be cinching down on plastic and you don't want to screw those in too tight and crack the plastic and break your tabs. Now I've got my drill set on 5 foot-pounds of torque. It's pretty light. I don't usually take a power drill like this when I'm out riding. I actually have another tool which we'll be talking about shortly that makes it really easy to take your belt off out in the wild. Alright, there you have it. That's all 9 back on. Just got to tighten this up and we're good to go. So before we wrap up today, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. Earlier I mentioned a tool that I like to take out in the field. And basically it's an electric driver that can power forward and reverse. It's a Craftsman unit that I've had for a few years. I really enjoy using it, and taking it out on the side-by-side is a great way to have a simplistic resource. You know, I live in the desert of Arizona, and when I'm out riding, if I ever have to change a belt, I don't want to do it out in the heat. And if I do have to, well, I want to make sure that I've got a tool to make it quick and easy and convenient, as much as possible at least. Basically, I just got a really simplistic, cheap nut driver set. The drivers that you need for the CVT belt are 8mm, and of course you need to have a flathead screwdriver for that clamp band around the air tube to the box. And then of course you may need it for a few other various things, and so that's why I keep the rest of those drivers with various sizes. So that's going to wrap up part 3 of our Let's Get Ride Ready series. Basic maintenance that you can do right here in your driveway, just like I did, to get your Razor, your Can-Am, your Honda Talon, your Kawasaki KRX, whatever it is that you may have to get it ride ready, and know that you're going to go out and have a good time and you're not going to break down, or hopefully not break down along the way. I really appreciate you joining me. Hope you liked what you saw here today. Hope you learned something and you walk away with some new good information. Thanks for joining us here at No Glitters, No Glory. I'm Jeremy signing off for another one. You guys take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.